Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Recently placed on parole for aggravated sexual assault of a child, Wayne Ray Campbell, age 28, of Sulphur Springs, is back in Hopkins County Jail for sex offender duty to register for life quarterly. Campbell failed to register his social media account and had begun to ask the wrong or inappropriate questions regarding a child with whom he had access to a parent on the account. Campbell was seeking someone to care for a relative that is in ill health, but during a social media conversation with the individual about the position, he began asking questions about that individual's child, according to Charles Humphreys with the Hopkins County Sheriff's Office. Campbell had failed to register a change of his online identifiers and admitted to the offense during an interview. In April 2017, Hopkins County Sheriff's deputies served an indictment warrant for aggravated sexual assault of a child under age 14. Campbell was arrested at his home on County Road 3128 in Hopkins County. At the time of the arrest, Humphreys told KSST News that Campbell was arrested after the juvenile made an outcry to her stepfather regarding an incident that happened in their home. She stated that Campbell, who was a guest in the home at the time of the incident, had touched her in an inappropriate manner.
The Right Stuff is an anthology by students of The Treehouse, a Christian homeschool school at Yantis, Texas. And the teacher of their writing course is Sharon Felt. She brought some students to meet us this morning on the KSST Good Morning Show.
Hi, I'm Philip Criswell.
Okay.
I'm Christian Abel.
Okay.
And I'm Rebecca Jackson.
And Sharon, who are these people?
These are the most exciting young people that I have ever had the pleasure to work with. They are part of the Treehouse group in the Young Publishers class, and they have just published their anthology from all the work that we did together last year.
I happen to have a copy of that anthology, which we'll be talking about as we go through this interview. But Sharon, you are a teacher of homeschooled students.
Yes, the Treehouse is a Christian homeschool in Yantis, and they have maybe 35, 40 students. My particular class is Young Publishers, and we have 17 this year, and there were 12 last year, so all my kids came back, and we are doing even greater things this year. They are amazingly creative kids, and it is a wonderful pleasure to work with them.
This school is unique because it is kind of a school for homeschooled.
It is. They do the basics at home with parents, but the Treehouse offers so many elective type subjects. There's Young Publishers, there's an art class, there is American Sign Language and Spanish. There is Pieces of the Globe, which the kids study all about the different parts of the world and the different countries. There is also a Young Explorers class for the younger kids, and this year we've added digital storytelling so that we take our writing and learn how to put it into video with voice and illustrations and photographs.
Wow.
It's really exciting, and music. And then there's a STEAM class, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and mathematics.
Wow, okay.
And it's a wonderful school. Wonderful.
So all of these are part of the curriculum at the Treehouse, T-H-E-E Treehouse.
Yes. Carrie Hurley is kind of our principal,
Okay.
and she started this several years ago, and it has flourished, and I just could not imagine. I'd never worked anywhere except public school, and I didn't really know what to expect. And it has been delightful.
Well, you've been out of teaching for a while. You always taught, what, kindergarten?
Yes.
Very
Kindergarten
little
and
kids.
college, both ends
Okay.
of the spectrum.
And suddenly now you are back in at teaching something that you love, which is writing.
Yes.
And I'm so happy for you for that outlet that you've found. But let's meet these kids a little bit further and find out what they have done in producing this anthology, The Right Stuff. So I would like answers from I have a panel here, so I'd like answers from any and all of you. I'll start with Philip. When did you start writing?
Well, I started writing when I was about 6 or 7. My first poem was about friendship. I think at some point I incorporated stinky armpits to it, yeah.
Well, that's part of our creativity, huh? What about you, Christian?
I think I started writing when I was 9, and then I wrote a bunch of poems. At 9, I wrote my book about my trip to India, and I did some poems, and I entered them in a 4-H contest. Now I publish my anthology with Miss Sharon.
So well put. And you, Rebecca?
I started writing when I was 6 years old. I would copy little Winnie the Pooh books down on paper, and that was just where I started. And now I'm getting some of my writing done in the Community Chronicle, and I have some of my pieces published in the anthology.
How old are you now?
I'm almost 13, but currently I'm 12.
Okay. Christian, how old are you?
I am 12 years old.
Okay. And Philip?
I'm 13.
Okay. And Sharon, the age range in the school of the Treehouse?
I think we have, I'm teaching a little class of 5-year-olds writing as well, 5, 6, 7, 8, that group. And then these kiddos are from 9 to 13 and 14.
Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper. Now, did any of you expect to become a published author when you started out with this project?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. And you are pleasantly surprised to be that?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
What about you, Christian? What is your favorite genre?
Well, mysteries, because you don't know what's going to happen when you turn the page.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, mysteries.
I like biographies because I like to learn about people's early life as well as their later life and what happiness and heartaches that they had to go through to make them who they are now.
Okay. Me too. So, what was the most important piece of writing information that you learned during the class? Because I know this is very instructional and your teacher brings a whole lot to this class. So, I'm going to pick on Christian here in the middle. What was the most important piece of writing information you learned during the class?
How to write bios and interview real people outside of our class,
Okay.
and how to not get into their personal stuff, but just get their early life, as
Okay.
Rebecca said.
Very good skills. What about you, Rebecca?
I learned to do research because you can't just write something down on paper and say, oh, hey, I want this published. You have to do your research, or when somebody reads your story or whatever you wrote, they will know that you don't know what you're talking about if you do not do your research.
And we don't want that.
I learned when it's important to write all your facts down before you do your spelling correct.
Okay. And you all from the era of spell correct, when we used to have to do everything from memory or...
The dictionary.
It's so true. So tell me about the anthology. Who wants to talk first to tell me about this wonderful book? Rebecca.
Well, it has mysteries, it has legends, it has myths. It has a lot of different pieces of writing, and everyone is unique in its own way. And so much work just went into it, and it's a great anthology. It's the first one I was ever published in, and we all had fun doing it.
Who can tell me what is an anthology?
It's a book with all different authors and different pieces of writing in it.
Okay. I did not even know that until I got this copy, because I would hear Ms. Felt talk about the anthology. And so I don't want to look dumb, but I don't know what an anthology is. But now I have one. Okay, let's ask a few more things to get to know you students a little bit better. Your impression, you had a book signing too. So when was that? It was recently. Okay.
It was before school started this year. We wanted to. It was kind of like the open house for the school, and we didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
And I was blown away by it. The treehouse was full of people, and it was so exciting to see them here to support these kids. But the kids had very different ideas about it, so I'll let them tell their impressions of the book signing.
And I do want to hear. Philip, tell me.
It was stressful trying to keep my handwriting neat. It got sloppier and sloppier as we went along.
I'm so glad you have to do handwriting. Yeah. What about you, Christian?
Well, as Philip said, we had to sign so many times, it was like our hands was about to fall off. So we tried to keep our handwriting neat as we went through.
Well, let's say you say so many times. How many books do you think you signed that day? Anyone remember?
Probably about 30, maybe, or more.
We had ordered 50, and we sold out of the books. We have one left, and that book is going to be auctioned off at the gala at the end of the year because it is the last copy of the first edition. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty impressive. But they signed about more than 30 that day, and we have a list of people who want books because we sold out. And we've got to order some more, which is exciting.
It is wonderful to say we're sold out. But I know you had another more recent event at the Treehouse about the book, and that's Philip. That's what I was referring to. I didn't know you'd had a previous book signing, so that might have been one of the outside activities that you've had this year that connected you to writing this book. But are there other things, like maybe just personal, that each of you might have done or plan to do that are connected to your writing or publishing? Do you have things coming up?
Yes, we are each going to cover a bit like real reporters.
Okay.
And we're going to be on radio and TV, and then after we get a tour, which is really exciting.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying visiting here at KSST. Okay, are you going to publish another anthology?
Yes, this year it'll be in color, and it'll be larger, but we still have to do in bios for inclusion with our work.
Okay. So inside the book, when it comes to, let's say, your story, Christian, a bio about you is there. Okay. And is it hard to write a short thing about yourself in your life?
Very. It has to be 100 words or less, and it has to be in third person. It's very hard.
Okay.
It depends. Sometimes it's not hard because you have a lot of things you want to say about yourself, but then it just has to be in 100 words, so that makes it a little more difficult because, whatever you put down on paper that you want people to know, that's what you think's interesting about yourself.
Okay. Do you think that other homeschool kids ought to be able to have such a school as the Treehouse? Or maybe they all do you think?
Yes. They should.
They should.
It's a great school, and Miss Carrie, she's put so much work into it, and all the teachers have too, and it's just, it's wonderful.
Who are some of the other teachers?
There's Miss Kelly Abel and Miss Kelly Wallace, and then Miss Sharon Felt, and Miss Carrie, she's a sub-teacher sometimes.
Okay.
And Miss Debbie Rhodes.
Okay.
Also, she's the one that teaches the Pieces of the Globe, and she's also one of the art teachers.
Okay. Wonderful creative people that just have a passion for this. And apparently there's an interest out there because there's a lot of kids already signed up at the Treehouse. So on the personal note, I want to ask you what you want to do in life. Do you feel like writing will continue to be part of your lives?
Yes, I do. When I get older, I want to go to cosmetology school to be a hairdresser, and then, but after, when I get a little older, I want to be an author.
Okay. I think you're working towards that all the time right now as you go through each day. Christian, what do you want to do?
Well, I want to be a pilot when I grow up, and that involves record keeping, so writing is definitely a good thing to do for that career.
Because any of us can just write anything we want to, but as authors there are certain rules, universal rules that need to be followed, and it's good to learn those early. What about you, Philip?
I'm not sure what I want to do, but it's definitely going to have to do something with writing.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Well, so let's say this being a typical week, it is Tuesday of this week. What will you do as far as going to the treehouse? Do you go every day?
No, we only go 2 days a week.
Okay. Will you go Thursday? Okay. And do you go every week of the year?
Yes, we do. Unless something comes up and we can't have the class, but it has to be it has to be pretty serious for us not to have the class.
Okay, so very much regularity with the classes. Thank you so much, Sharon, for bringing these outstanding youngsters.
They are just delightful to work with. And there are 14 more that are just delightful too that will also be having interviews and talking about some of the things that we do this year.
We'll look forward to meeting more of the Treehouse students. And how can they get a copy of the anthology?
They can call me, Sharon Felt, at 832-687-6617. And as I said, we are in the process of ordering more because we sold out. And or you can come by the Treehouse, which is in a little bit past Yantis. It's on 154. Or you can contact Carrie Hurley, who is our principal.
Okay. And is there a website or someplace we can find out about the Treehouse?
There is. What?
The Treehouse has a Facebook page that you can look at.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. The T-H-E-E Treehouse. Okay. Thank you all
I am taking the digital storytelling class this year with the kids so I can learn a little bit more technology.
Good. Continuing ed.
It is. It is.
Thank you all for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
On Coordinator Tuesday, I talked with Wildcats offensive coordinator Matt Young about offensive play against Royce City and about the bye week.
I mean, there was a lot of things that made it scary. A Thursday night game, always a little bit different when you're dealing with teenagers. The weather delay was a big element of adversity to overcome and keep our focus. I think that played a part in it some. And then Royce City's ball control. I think we had maybe 8 possessions. Maybe 9, counting hitting the knee right before the half, or the last one we were running out the clock. So it had a lot of things going against us. That and Royce City's defense was really good. We knew going in that they were very simple, but they were very sound, and they had some really good players that understood their job. I thought their safety, Roberson, was one of the best players we've played in a while on the back end. He was able to, anything that we did hit right, he cleaned up. But overall, you know, you're happy where you're at. You're 3-0, you're 2-0 in district, and we're still looking for that perfect game. We're still chasing things we're going to improve on. The execution level was better. The week before we had some frustration with some missed band calls and not doing what we're supposed to. That wasn't the case. There's just some things we need to do better physically, some detail, some pad level, some route stems, those things, the ball out on timing that will make us better as we go forth. But, you know, I thought Austin Dodd had a tremendous night, made a big play. I thought DeCorian did a good job making big plays when opportunities arose. One of the keys for us being 3-0 is our winning the turnover battle. Not only our defense doing a great job taking the ball, we're not giving it to people. And so from the quarterback doing his job where he's throwing it, to the running backs how they carry it, to really everybody on the team doing their assignment, that you don't get one of those turn loose, say, surprise. We had one on the ground the other night, but we were fortunate to get it back. So lots of different elements going into it. You know, Landry Tyson made a nice catch for a touchdown. Jace had a couple of good catches. Jermon did some good things again. So it's up and down. We're still not, as coaches, we're not anywhere near where we want to be, where we think we can be. And as players, we hope we have that attitude this week to continue to work to get there.
First quarter, a couple of turnovers. You mentioned defense gets those, but it's up on to the offense. Even with a short field, you got to make hay out of it, and did twice on those 2 drives. That was big.
Yeah, that's one of the things, kind of cashing in on some big calls. The first one, the bootleg out, Alfredo and Chalk did a great job in protection that gave DeCorian time to find Landry. They had done a good job covering the initial routes. The second time down, we got into a short yardage situation, our Bulls package. We had a new guy at quarterback. It was Jermon's first time, and the Red Sea parted. The big boys on the right side with Janitas and Haas and Charlie opened it up, and Gio and Landry did a good job making it clean for him. So you got to get down there and make plays. That's one of our goals each week, is that we score more points per trip into what we call the green zone, because we want to go in the green zone. We don't want to stop. change the name. But we're doing a good job of that. Our defense is doing a good job of getting the stops when we get down there, and then we got to cash it in.
Close ball game, and you make 2 touchdowns on 4th down. You mentioned the one with their Jamon Bryant Amos, and then very improbable 4th and 25 from the 26-yard line, and just a beautiful, well-executed play all the way around.
Yeah, it really comes down to guys making plays. They ran the routes where they needed to, so they had the depth. The O-line with just 3 guys rushing gave DeCorian time. Then DeCorian did a good job of buying time and then making an excellent throw. That's really what you want to do, is just give those guys a chance to make a play. Austin did a good job continuing with his route as it came across the field. And it's really those guys doing a good job as a collective unit and not giving up because they're in a bad situation. And that's really the key to what we do, is that you keep playing, and you'll make plays.
Now, we know about Dodd, Mr. Versatile, offense, defense, punt returner, all that kind of stuff. But Jamon Bryant Amos is just really versatile. B-back, receiver, quarterback now for the Bulls and everything. Is he the biggest surprise maybe in the offense this year to you?
Maybe. Really for us, we knew it was in there. We didn't know how far it would go. What he's capable of, because he is so talented. I mean, he can do. When he was in junior high, he played offensive line. When he was on JV, he played running back, and he's always played some receiver. And now we got him doing the H-back, and he can catch a snap. It's a kid with some confidence, and we're really seeing him kind of develop. And we've said all summer, the more he develops, the more diverse our offense can be. He just provides some things with his size and his length, and then the ability to keep him on the field in all our different formations really kind of gives us an edge offensively. So he does it all on the offensive side, throwing and being a punter, and then Dodd does it all in every phase of the game. Yeah. And then we got some other guys that are doing a really good job as well.
Yeah, a lot of great pieces this year really coming together. I got the feeling from hearing friends and reading stuff that Coach Owen said about the bye week, that this is kind of cleanup week for your offense. You talk about pad level and all those other things that need cleaning up. I imagine that it's cleanup week, isn't it?
It is. When you're playing an opponent, you spend so much time on the opponent. Some of those little details get overlooked. Some of those things don't get quite called on the carpet. And we sat down yesterday as an offensive staff and said, okay, 3 things O-line. Here's what you feel you need to do. 3 things running back wise, from pad level to stance. To within a scheme, fitting on a linebacker, a certain route that we haven't caught enough of as running backs that are going to be big down the road, to timing quarterback-wise, where there's a window that we're missing. If we'll hit it, we'll run after the catch instead of getting tackled when we catch. So that's really what we're going to go focus on. We're going to it's not about installing something new for the upcoming opponents. We still have a nice little list of things that we haven't ran. So it's really focusing on us, so those details help carry us the next few weeks.
On Tuesday morning, I also had the chance to talk with Wildcats defensive coordinator Alex Guerra about the defensive effort against Royce City and about the bye week.
Obviously really pleased with the passing situation, but we knew coming in they weren't wanting to throw the ball much. So I felt as far as rushing, we had moments where we did a really good job. Other moments, it's a game. Some assignments were blown, missed tackles. But overall, I was very pleased with our effort.
All right. Once again, I think Coach Owens mentioned him on Saturday, Marino from the inside linebacker. Mm-hmm. It seemed like he's had 3 really good games for you inside.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's picked up, like we've talked about in the past, he's really smart, very passionate. He gets after it, comes to practice every day, and all of his work is paying off. I mean, every Friday night, he does a great job for us.
Now, those guys in the secondary, you can get lulled to sleep, can't you, when a team's really struggling to throw the football? You make one mistake and they'll hit you for a big one, I guess.
Yeah, and we worked all week. We told them over and over, don't fall asleep. They're going to try, and they did. They tried several times. They ran a couple things that they hadn't shown before, but our guys did a good job, kept their eyes open. Their keys were read well, and they stayed with them pretty much every time.
Tell us about the D-line, how they played against Royce City.
Very pleased with him. I think Nacho had a really good game for us. Weren't sure at first, but after watching video, him and Jose did a great job. Crawford came in, did a great job for us. Rushing did well at times. And everybody came in and out. I was very pleased with them. We were able to, do a good job against the run with 3 guys up front, versus their, 7 cats up front. And they did a good job.
I know a point of emphasis always for you and the defense is tackling, and Coach Owens thought the tackling was improved in the ball game this last one.
Yeah, it's been a good deal. That was one of our number one goals was to get better at tackling, and every week we've seen improvement from the scrimmage to Wakeland, Terrell, and then now. So we're happy. We're heading in the right direction. We're not anywhere near where we need to be, but we're happy with where we're at.
And I was talking to Coach Young, and it sounds like from Coach Owens that this is kind of cleanup week, and so you can kind of go back to basics and try to clean up some of the little things that you may not can concentrate quite as much on when you're looking at an opponent to prepare for it.
Yeah, it's always good to have a bye week, come back and clean up some stuff we need to do, some of our reads and our run fits and stuff like that, but make no mistake about it, we're looking at Forney right now. I mean, we've watched them, broken them down, and while we're cleaning stuff up, we're already starting to focus on our opponent.
You kind of hope to get a few guys that may be a little dinged up, get them a little healthier for the stretch.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We got a couple guys, waiting to find out about Ch.18. I think he's going to be back, hopefully. We got a couple others, but yeah, we need a break. I think today we're going shorts and helmets just to move around, get a little sweat going, and I'm gonna get those guys, get their legs under them, and get the guys with dings and bumps and bruises ready to go.
The progress of the defense over the season, you pleased with that at this point?
Yeah, I was very pleased. One point in particular, last week in the red zone, they started to tempo us a little bit, and we were signaling in, and some of the guys were confused about coverages, and Dowd was sitting back there, does everything for us, obviously, and he was able to check into some coverages. They couldn't see me for some odd reason. It was going crazy, and Dowd took over and checked into exactly what we wanted, and it shows me that they're learning the concepts, the techniques, and everything we're wanting, and they're starting to put them into work. They're working on them, and I like what they're doing.
Yeah, Coach Owens, that was he thought one of the big moments in the ball game. We're only ahead 21-7, and they're down there in that red zone, and they're getting ready to score. I think they were on the 5 or something. They got really, really deep, and the defense holds them and forces a field goal. Kind of changes the whole dynamic of the game from a 7-point game to a 11-point game.
Yeah, no doubt. We're excited about that. They came up, and I would have liked to stop them before they got that close, but we'll take a field goal over a touchdown any day. We feel like it's a little notch on our belt when we stop people, in the red zone, and it was a good deal for us. I think it helped the team.
Very good.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.